This bit of my job is slightly irrelevant to what we're talking about here. This bit is the bit that's relevant. UCL Advances is UCL's Centre for Entrepreneurship, and we started about 5 years ago, deliberately as something that was a bit different, a bit like this competition, a hybrid department between doing some academic things and a large amount of outreach activity. It's a different beast. It does. We did about 2,500 to 3,000 student places last year in terms of the number of activities and things that we ran, which means that we have a capacity that's a bit bigger than Stanford in terms of entrepreneurial activities. And over the course of the last 5 years, we've looked at things like this and other collaborative activities. We co-run a program called the China-UK Challenge, which helps people with business ideas that might be relevant immediately to international expansion. So the idea of some British companies that might want to do things in China and a parallel stream in China that wants to bring things to the UK. And the theme is similar to this. What can we do together by bringing different bits of the spectrum together in order to solve problems and build businesses? And following on from a lot of what Jeff said, that's the bit that you've really got to get your heads around in this program about why it's different and what it is that we're looking for from the people who participate and ultimately from the winners. Who here thinks that they are brilliant enough to start a company? If you don't have your hand up at this point, I would like to know what the hell you're doing here. So I'm going to say something much ruder than hell, because I'm clearly not absolutely happy. Let me try that again. Who here thinks they're brilliant enough to start a company? Brilliant. Who here, keep your hand up if you think you're brilliant enough to start this company on your own. Really? What do you do? What's your background?
Graduate of LBS.
Okay.
And, I've actually started the company during my studies in LBS in clean technology. That's what I do right now.
And you're running that business now?
Yes.
And how big is it? What does it do? Perhaps I should know this. Or maybe I've just walked into a giant bear trap with the one person in the room who's going to screw up my analogy.
It's a solar energy project in Malta.
Okay.
And I started it by meeting a group of investors who were looking for someone to actually go and do it. So they gave me the idea, they gave me everything, they just sent me on a plane. Try to do it, and it's fledging, so it might work, it might not work. There's a lot of regulation problems.
But you started it by meeting a group of people.
Yes.
In your case, investors. That got us a lifesaver, because otherwise I could have been completely up the creek with this. Because that's what this program's about, right? It's about the idea that the world's #1 business school without a university meets the world's #1 university without a business school. They happen to coincidentally be 12 minutes walk apart. We are, so you know, LBS #1 MBA program on many of the rankings. UCL currently ranks as the #4 all-round university in the world. This is the place where, if you didn't know, we discovered everything on the right hand of the periodic table. We discovered hormones, vitamin C. The reason that the internet is meaning the international network of networks, that being what internet stands for, the reason that it's international is that UCL connected to the American DARPANET in 1973. This institution, as UCL, changed the world, and we need to change the world again. Whether or not the reason that we looked at this when Jeff and I sat in my office upstairs 4 years ago, whenever it was, and said, how do we do something different? The problem that everybody was talking about at that particular point was things to do in run-up to World Summits and what became the Copenhagen Summit and things that were the follow-on from Rio and the 2020 goals and so on. And we basically looked at it and we said, quite frankly, none of these things are going to happen. Unless we have a combination of solutions that are not only technically enabled and commercially viable that strive to meet those objectives, we are in a dark, dark place. Now, you can believe in whatever you do or don't believe in terms of environmental change, and you can believe in what might entirely happen in terms of what's going to happen to the human race. I learned a fantastic fact about this about 2 weeks ago. The combined mass of the human race right now, just if you've got everybody on a set of scales, the combined mass of the human race right now exceeds that of any other species in history. The sheer volume of human beings that are trying to consume the resources of the world puts us at a point at which nobody has ever been through that before. Something interesting, dynamic has to happen to ensure that that's sustainable. Now, you may believe that there is such a thing as man-made global warming, or you may not, in which case you're probably an American and an idiot. Note the two, you don't have to necessarily be one to be the other. And the critical thing about this right now is that this, in order to sort of develop solutions that meet those kind of challenges, we need something different. We need something that's realistic, that's actually going to be able to not only solve those problems but be sustainable, that is going to be able to generate the kind of resources and the kind of investment that is needed in order to make it happen. That's almost certainly going to be things that start small. It's not going to be somebody just any one solution. It's not going to be somebody who basically turns up and invents purely another form of power generation or another form of whatever. It's got to be a group and a series of attitudes and a series of things that change, and the kind of things that we will see in this program might range from people who have developed new solutions for encouraging monitoring of energy in the home, to lower energy usage. It might be people who've got nice solutions for cleaning up water so that people who are living in parts of the world which will be affected by climate change if they're not already, actually are able to have enough water to drink, to be able to grow crops and so on without having to spend large amounts of the world's resources moving them around the place. It might be to do with a whole load of things. Some of them can be quite small and high impact, some of them might be huge and technically ambitious. The range of the stuff will be great. What we're looking for, though, is not just somebody, as Jeff said, who can write a clever business plan, but who has combined the elements that are the best of those two institutions and indeed of the others that we brought into the program, so that there will be this combination of technical expertise and of creativity and of business understanding and of a policy nous, which means that these things are practical and real, and that they are technically viable and that they can be demonstrated to be so. And if you can do that, and if you're up for this kind of challenge, then this is the program that we're talking about. If you want to just go and write a business plan for something else, tell everybody how clever you are, and do a whole load of spreadsheets on the end, to show the net present value and what's going to happen in various stages of cash, fantastic. Go away and do that. Don't bother doing it here. This isn't what this is about. This is about trying to find genuinely exciting, radical, practical, radical solutions that are practical and can be delivered, that might in some way be able to affect the clean agenda and environmental agenda more radically, of the sort that we need if we're going to progress, if we're going to be able to counter some of the problems that we've encountered in the last few years. So that's the challenge that's before you. And whether or not you want to do that from any of those particular angles or whatever it is you might want to do, there will be other people that are out there to complement you. And thanks to my new friend here who managed to save me with his opening line to the answer, you will need to meet people in order to make that happen. And some of them will be investors, and some of them will be people out there who are already running businesses doing this kind of stuff. And some of them will be people who are working for big energy companies, and some of them will be people who are working in public policy, or are working in VC, or who are the kind of mentors who just help people get any kind of venture off the ground, like John over here. And that's what this is all about. And if that's what excites you, then we hope to see you take part in the program, hope to see you at the workshops, and at the end, we hope to see some viable ideas come out that will become positive and beneficial companies of the future. Thank you very much, and good luck.